everybody, and welcome back to Life on the Farm. We're here on November 11th. We've got our first real cold snap of the year, and it was a bitter cold night last night. But we're here today. Rain or shine, cold or warm, the show's got to go on this time of year. We have a narrow window that we have that we can get our planting done. So we got to work, whether we want to or not, we got to be out here. One of the questions I get asked a lot is, why do you plant seed beds and then why do you pull them up and move them? Why don't you it makes more sense to just put them where they're going to be. And it does make a lot of sense. And I do want to talk about that a little bit this morning as to why we do that. So what I want to do is I want to show you some of our plants. And these are some of our Adora plants. So we're almost finished pulling our Adoras, and by tomorrow, our Adora plants will be in the ground. So we'll be done transplanting them, and then we'll move into what we call Vidora. And again, those are two of my favorite varieties. They're our early season varieties. And then next week, we'll be moving into some of our mid-season varieties that are over here we haven't got into yet. But you'll see some of that process. But what I want to show you is some of our plants that we do. So when we pull our plants, we plant our seed. Now, a couple things I didn't share with you. I just can't give all the information at once. There's just so much of it. I don't think about everything. But one thing we talked about when we were planting our seed, we talked about seed depth. You remember when we planted our seed, I said one of the things that's very critical when we plant seed beds is seed depth. Now, if you ask 10 different growers across the industry, you'll probably get 10 different answers. But my preferred planting depth for seed, when we put our seed in the ground, is about 1/8 of an inch deep, if you remember that. But one thing we didn't talk about was how many of those seeds we put in an acre of seed beds. Now, I like, just for reference, I like about 1.8 million seed per acre. That's just about ideal for me. That gives me good plants. I get good size. That spaces them out just enough. There are some people that like 2.2 million. I think probably, if I had to guess, the industry average will be somewhere around 2 million seed per acre. That's on our plant beds. Now, when we go to pull them up and transplant them, and we'll show you that in a few minutes, we'll go over to where we're transplanting, and you'll get to see how we do that process. But some of the things that we do, we can vary the amount of plants per acre. And, we'll be somewhere around 80,000 plants per acre. And then some of our neighbors, some of the other people in the industry, they're up, north of 100,000 plants per acre. Everybody does things different, but in the end, we'll all have onions come spring. But this is why, one of the reasons that we use seed beds when we pull them up and transplant them is because if you look at these plants, we've got some really nice plants. This is what we want to plant. We want big plants that's about the size of a pencil. This is an ideal plant. This is the size you want to be. That's ideal. Now, if you'll notice this bundle that I just pulled up, this handful, and it's all varieties, and there's nothing we can do, there's nothing we can change about this really. You're just going to have what we call runts. You ever had a litter of puppies or a litter of kittens, and you got 5 or 6 of them that are average size, you got one that's smaller than the rest? We have the same thing with onion plants. So we have runts. Now, when our guys, and you'll see this when we get over where they're transplanting, when they're planting and they're so fast, it's amazing, they'll throw out these small ones. These plants won't survive the cold. They won't survive the herbicide that we put for our weed control, and they'll never make a marketable onion. So we throw those out, they throw it down the tractor middles, and then we only want to plant the good plants. So as they pick up a bundle of plants, they'll kind of leaf through them, and they'll throw out those little runts and get rid of them, and then we plant the bigger, healthier plants. So one thing, if we were to just go plant the seed, and there is a process that we can do that, it's called direct seeding. We can use our same monosem planters, and we can change our plates, and we change our spacing, of course, and we can put a seed about every 6 inches apart, and then, but this is what you get. Some of those seeds will turn into this. So you don't have a very good stand always. There's just a lot of issues with it. It is doable, we can do it, but there's a lot of hurdles that we have to overcome. Weather is one of them. When we get these extreme cold temperatures, now last night was not extreme, we were in the upper 20s. I think we got to about 28 degrees here. We get down to about 18 degrees and we got some real problems if you're direct seeding. And we have that from time to time. Now these big healthy transplants, they can handle some cold. They can take it. And they're a lot bigger, and then when you put them in the ground and you plant them, and we'll stand that thing up, you'll see when we get over and transplant. Now that plant will survive. It'll take a pretty good beating as far as the cold goes. But that's just some of the reasons that we don't just go directly to the field with it. We put them in seed beds, then we get to pull them by hand. Now it is labor intensive. There's a lot of labor involved. Up till this point, it's all been mechanical. You know, we fixed all our land with our equipment, with our tractors and our cultivators and our rotavators. And then we used our monostem planters to do our seeding. But now it all turns into hand planting. I get that asked this a lot. Isn't everything that you do mechanical? Well, it's not. All of our planting that we do, planting and harvesting, is done by hand. And it's a slow process and it's very labor intensive. But we got our guys back here in the background, I guess you can see those, and they're pulling our plants. And what they do is they want to reach down and they'll grab them like this and they'll pull them up, and we're asking them to give us 100 plants per bundle. They'll bundle them up, they'll put a rubber band around them, and they'll lay them down just like you see over here. And they're shooting for 100 plants per bundle. And then they'll come along later, if you'll see over here on the far side, and they'll put them into bags. They'll bag them up, and then they'll bring these trucks through and they'll load them up onto that, and then we'll transport them over to the field where we're transplanting. So we're gonna show you some of that. But some of these things that we're talking about, seed per acre, how many seed do we put in the seed beds, and then how many transplants do we put per acre? That's just some of the things that, you know, a lot of people don't know, they don't realize. So there's a lot of seed that goes in the ground, and then there's a lot of transplants that goes in the field. Last week we did a trivia question, and Miss Karen Sundra won our trivia question. She was our prize winner. This week we thought we'd do something a little bit different. We're just going to do a giveaway. We're going to have just a contest, and the way you're going to be able to enter the contest is we're going to do a like, share, and tag contest. Now you'll be able to enter this as many times as you like. So every time that you like this video, share and tag somebody, share it with your favorite onion lover, whoever you got that really likes onions. Share this video with them. The more times you do it, the more eligible you are to win, more chances you have to win. But we'll do that, and we'll just do a random drawing. And I think from what the girls told me in the office, this prize might even be a little bit better than last week. So stay tuned. Y'all enjoy that, and we'll have some fun with it.